Okay, so a bunch of people were asking for an update on the 280. So I'm gonna show you guys a few different ways to remove some of the sound deadening and the undercoat and all that stuff. So anyway, what you're gonna wanna do is step number one is you're gonna have your secretary hold all your calls and meetings for the next 6 months. Tell your girlfriend that there won't be any dates for the next 6 months to 7 months. And pretty much just turn your phone off. You don't want anybody to bug you because, yeah, this is a lot of work. So yeah, anyway, enough of the funny stuff. Let me go ahead and show you guys some of the different ways and different tools that I'm using. And yeah, we'll go from there. I've watched a lot of videos on people doing this, and to be honest, like the videos, they really stink because most people, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, we're gonna scrape like this part here, and then they'll do a time lapse, like a 20-minute time lapse. Well, and they don't like take the time to explain like what they're doing or anything like that. It's just, I mean, there's a couple out there that are okay, but I just kind of want to go through each different thing that I've tried and kind of let you guys know what works best. The honest truth of all of these processes are they all take time, and none of them are easy, okay? Unless you take your car and go get it dipped, acid dipped. Okay, and that's like, you know, I've gotten a quote, I've looked online, and you can pay between $1,500 and $2,500, depending on, you know, how I don't really know what it depends on, but you know, how many times they have to dip it and how many times, you know, how long it takes to get all this off. Okay, and I know that like Z's, their undercoat and the sound deadening and all that, it's a real pain. So yeah, let's go over the first. Here's the first thing you're going to want to use is pretty much a angle grinder, okay? And go to like Harbor Freight. Go to Harbor Freight and get you all a bunch of different wheels. Okay, this is the knotted one. I have a whole bunch here. These are really cheap at Harbor Freight. Just keep in mind these don't last long. So this is like $4, but they don't last very long. You may get maybe an hour and a half out of it. Here's another, just a regular cup that's not knotted. And let's see, in my chair here, I got a whole bunch of them. So I keep this chair with me. I roll it around when I'm working on it. There's another cup that's not knotted. Another one of these. This one's starting to come apart. Whole bunch of flap discs. You don't really want to use these too much, other than areas where you're going to be welding, because those will dig right into the metal. These wire brushes won't. Okay, these wire brushes are great, and I'll give you a demonstration on a few spots in a minute. Okay, and then another one. Okay, the next one is pretty much you use heat. Okay, you can use a blowtorch and get yourself a scraper, where's the scraper at? Oh, here. Get you one of these, scraper, and then a whole bunch of blades. There's a whole bunch in here, and I have another box over there. And you basically, I mean, that's what all this is here. You just pretty much heat it up, and you just start scraping. It'll come off really easy if you heat it up, and it's gonna start, like it's gonna catch on fire a little bit, and then it's gonna fall, and you gotta be careful and make sure you wear a respirator because it is very toxic and stinks really bad. That's why I pull the car out here so that it doesn't fill my shop with, you know, toxic fumes. But yeah, what else? One that I've been using to get that I use to get all the sound deadening out of the car is this air chisel. Where's it at? I think it's right here. This air chisel, this worked great, okay? Hopefully I have a piece of, hopefully there's some sound deadening that is left that I can demonstrate. but I actually got most of it. There might be a piece here and there that I can show you guys how this works. But yeah, and then what else? You can use this, they call these like a multi-tool. This is from Harbor Freight, and this gets up underneath. So once you get the sound deadening off, this is not rust. This brown stuff, this is all like some kind of undercoat, seam sealer spray or something, I don't know. But as you can see, like right there, that's what's underneath the metal. Okay, the rest of that is, this brown stuff is all glue. So they must have used some kind of different glue on the driver's side than they use on the passenger side. Here's a little bit of surface rust, but none of it's through the floorboard. There we do have one patch we got to do here, which I made a little template. So that's really the only part of the floorboard, the entire floorboard. That's the only spot right there. So that's not too bad. And then obviously we have the frame rails we got to do. You can see the frame rails are gone completely, pretty much. But yeah, so like I said, I wanted to kind of demonstrate, because all the videos I've been watching, they actually don't really explain it and show you, you know, exactly how to do it. So let me set this up on a tripod, and then we'll start off with the heat. We'll use the torch, and I'll show you guys how easily that comes off with the torch.
All right, so you're basically just going to start heating it up. I'm kind of showing you guys in an area that I haven't touched yet, just so you can see. Okay, so it goes pretty quick. I mean, you're still got some of this stuff underneath here, but kind of just get this ahead of it. As you can see, like, I try to keep the torch ahead of the scraper, so it's kind of heating it up as it goes.
Okay, I stopped there because I just wanted to kind of go over it with you guys, explain a little bit. Make sure you do this outside, okay, because it does flame up every once in a while. It's, you know, it's not a big deal. Don't freak out about that. What you do is you just scrape it, and if it starts flaming up really crazy, just knock it off and let it hit the ground, and it goes out instantly, okay? Do not have your gas tank in the car when you're doing this. Make sure you have nothing in the car that is flammable. No, you know, make sure you wear a respirator. It stinks really bad, okay? But it works, it's really efficient because like this was literally, I don't know, about a minute and a half. And the rest of it, all this little glue stuff here, I'm gonna use, like I said, I'm gonna use probably a wire wheel, come back, and I'll be able to knock that off pretty easy. Okay. So that's number one. If you try to go ahead and just get it all off with these wheels, like if you just come in here and just start doing this, you know, with your wheel, it's gonna take forever. It's gonna take forever. You're gonna go through a whole bunch of these. It's gonna be a mess. It's gonna fling stuff everywhere. What's nice about doing it with the heat is your mess just drops right there, okay? And then you can clean it up pretty easy. You know, it's not too much of a pain to clean up. So now as far as the paint goes, you know, you're pretty much the whole thing I've done with a wire wheel. So I guess I'll show a little demonstration on that right now, just to show you guys how that comes off. Okay, so that works pretty good. You can see, gets the paint right off of it. The only bad thing about these wire wheels is you're gonna get like these metal things in your pants like crazy. So you're gonna wanna wear one of these, face shield, long sleeves, and pants. 100%. Don't try to do that in shorts with or without gloves or without using one of those. You will be paying the price for sure. Okay, so we've done the heat gun method or the torch method, or you could use a heat gun. I've done both. The torch is quicker. So I have a heat gun right there. I use the heat gun, but honestly, the heat gun takes forever, and the torch, it's light, it's mobile. You can take it anywhere with you, and it's quicker. So the next one I'll show you is this scraper here. This works pretty good in some of these areas. I'll kind of show that. Unfortunately, I've done most of it, so there's really not a lot to scrape off, but there's a couple pieces of sound deadening over here that I'll show you. This works actually pretty good. So let me go over there and we'll try that. And then probably the last one I'll do is the chisel. I'll show you a couple spots on the back where the chisel works really good. All right, so again, sorry I don't have a lot of sound deadening to take off because I've done most of it, but there's still some here. Like you can see, it's still stuck, okay? And it's stuck really good. So I'm gonna show you this here, and just how the way it vibrates is the reason why it knocks it off so easy. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, so the one thing I don't like, this is probably my least favorite tool. I mean, it works, but it's my least favorite because it actually does some damage to the metal. If you can see it starting to scrape the metal. So all these different methods is like you're trying not to damage the metal underneath. You're trying to keep the metal preserved. So, okay, I guess the last one I'll do is this one here, but you know, again, I've done most of it. So you've got this, it's nice and curved like that. So it worked really good with getting up underneath the sound deadening, and it just lifted it up, okay? I didn't have to, I mean, I used some dry ice about 2 weeks ago on some of it. Mostly back here, I used some dry ice and it broke it off pretty easy. But I actually didn't need to do that. I could have just used this alone and it would have worked. So there's a pretty good piece back here that I'll show you guys how the air chisel works. And then, yeah, I'll kind of wrap this up and give you my idea of what I think works the best. Okay, so that was the air hammer, and they have different attachments. You know, these are cheap at Harbor Freight. And even though it sounded like it's really harsh on the metal, it's really not. You know, it didn't make any dents or anything because the stroke is really short on it. It's moving like this, okay? It's not moving very much. So it doesn't really damage the metal, you know, per se. And it's good for that, this like seam sealer that is really hard. It knocks that out of there pretty good. So, you know, that's another option you can try. So we tried, you know, we did the wire wheel, the this tool here, the scraper, with heat, you know, with a torch, the air hammer, all that. And pretty much in my assessment, the easiest one is none of them. The point I'm trying to make is that there is no easy way to do this. Every single one of these methods, it takes a lot of work and time. It's very time consuming. So yeah, there really is no quick way to do this. Other than, like I said earlier, I think I said that you can get it dipped and then have it all stripped, but that's pretty expensive. I mean, a couple $1,000s to get these dipped, depending on if it takes multiple times to get all these sound deadening off, okay? And in order to do these cars right, you have to take this sound deadening off because you'll uncover, like right here, okay? You know, this all looks solid and everything, and there was, you know, sound deadening all over it. But look, I found a tiny little hole that we're gonna have to weld up. So if you just left that, that's gonna grow, you know what I mean? And you're gonna paint over that, and then eventually it's gonna just start growing and growing, and you're gonna have a mess that you gotta take it all back apart and redo, you know? So you have to get every piece of coating off the car if you wanna do this right, you know? And epoxy primer everything. So that's what we'll do. I just kind of wanted to show you guys, give an update. Everything's coming along good though. I mean, you know, it's just a long process. That's all I can really say. The next thing I'll be doing once I get it all stripped, we'll be doing these Apex Engineering frame rails. Okay, these are really, really heavy duty. And I'll flip the car on its side and I'll show you how those are going to go on. My rotisserie works great. Flips right over. I use a tire to kind of stop it, to keep it from flipping all the way over. Eventually I will flip it all the way over, just I don't need to right now. But anyway, okay, I have a few spots, like I said, on the inside, I had to cut this one spot out of the floorboard we're gonna have to fix. But as you can see, that somebody had jacked the car up with the frame rail, and you're not supposed to do that on these. These frame rails are not very thick. So anyway, we have the Apex Engineering frame rails, and I'll show you what's cool about these. Not this one, this one. So what's cool about these is these are, okay, like on a Mustang, these cars are similar to a Mustang. The frame rails on a Mustang only come like halfway and then they start back up again. So you have the body's not, or the frame is not attached from the front to the back. So, and the same thing with these, you know, the frame rails stop right here, which is, I don't know why they would do that, but they do. So these Apex Engineering frame rails, okay, these extend. It's going to be hard to do this with one hand, but I'll try. It's going to go here. You bend it up into that area there. But as you can see, look, it extends way past the stock frame rail. It extends past, and then it has some notches there where it comes with these other pieces here that will, let's see if I can kind of show how this works. So these pieces here, yeah, these pieces here are going to kind of sit, as you can see, kind of like that, okay? Which is going to go here, okay? See how that fits up in there? Wraps around with a nice radius and everything. And then that will weld to the rear subframe, which is this whole section here. So that will attach the rear subframe to the front subframe. And then it has like this piece here. This is a really nice setup. It was a little expensive, but I think it was worth it. That goes there to kind of box it in. So that, this is extremely difficult doing this with one hand. But anyway, I think you guys understand what it does. So it'll be tied into this rear subframe, and then it has to clear the sway bar. The sway bar comes here, so it kind of tucks in behind the sway bar. So anyway, yeah, this video is going to get kind of long, so I just wanted to show you guys a few different ways to get this sound deadening off. It's not easy. None of the methods are easy. I don't care if you search all through the internet and YouTube, whatever, to find the magic way on how to get all this stuff off. It doesn't exist. It's just hard work and time. Like I told you in a couple of videos ago, you got to just make small goals, you know, like do one little spot, get that little spot done, and then move on. Get this little spot done, move on. And eventually you'll get there. So Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you learned something. Try different methods. Like I said, none of them are a magic bullet to get this done. So anyway, that's going to do it. Check y'all later.